Welcome to this deep dive.
Okay.
And we're going to be unpacking 5 reasons why you must make something for yourself.
Right.
It's by Frederick Osei-Manu. And we're really excited to kind of dig into this today.
Yeah.
And go beyond, just like the get-rich-quick schemes.
Right.
And really look at building wealth, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come.
Yeah, I think that's a really refreshing approach that Manu takes. He doesn't just throw out, financial tips. He's laying out a whole philosophy, a life of purpose and impact and wealth as a tool to achieve those goals.
Yeah, and he starts by tackling the idea of financial independence, right? Something I think resonates with a lot of us.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it does with me.
Yeah.
And he challenges us to escape the 9-to-5 grind.
Yay.
By creating multiple income streams. Right? So instead of just relying on a single paycheck, he encourages us to diversify our income.
Right.
Giving an example of, building a side hustle.
That generates passive income.
Yeah.
Have you seen this strategy gain traction with people that you've worked with?
Absolutely. I mean, and Manu's point about multiplying money, it really hits home here. It's not just about earning more. It's about making your money work for you.
Right.
So, through investments.
Right.
And he specifically mentions the 70-30 rule.
Oh, yeah.
Where you invest 70% of your earnings and live off the remaining 30%.
Wow.
Have you ever considered implementing something like that?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
It really forces you to prioritize that long-term financial growth. But Manu doesn't stop there, right?
Right.
He takes it a step further and he delves into the concept of transgenerational wealth.
Yeah.
Which I found particularly fascinating.
It's a powerful shift in perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on our own financial well-being.
He's encouraging us to build something that can benefit our children.
Right.
And future generations.
Yes.
And he gives us, real tangible examples of how to achieve this.
Right.
Particularly through real estate and building a business.
He shares that anecdote about Nordstrom Rack, right?
Yeah.
Which started as a small shoe store and blossomed into a retail empire.
That's right.
It shows how, a small business can become a lasting legacy. I think it's a powerful reminder that the seeds we plant today can grow into something extraordinary for future generations.
And that ties directly into his concept of generational blessings, which, goes beyond just financial inheritance. It's about creating opportunities, providing education, and instilling values that empower future generations to thrive.
So it's about building a foundation that goes beyond just money, right? It's about building a legacy that enriches lives.
Exactly.
In a multitude of ways.
And what's interesting is how Manu connects wealth creation to something bigger than ourselves, to making a difference in the lives of others.
He argues that true wealth is about more than just personal gain. It's about having the resources to make a positive impact in the world around us.
And he emphasizes that this impact can take many forms, from philanthropy, social entrepreneurship, to supporting causes you believe in.
Yeah.
He really challenges us to align our financial goals with our values and purpose.
Yeah.
How do you see this idea of wealth as a tool for good resonating with people today?
I think it's a concept that's gaining traction, especially among younger generations.
Yeah.
People are increasingly looking for ways to make their money work for good.
Right.
Not just for profit. But Manu doesn't shy away from the darker side of the coin either.
Right.
He addresses poverty head on, calling it a thief that robs people of their self-respect and esteem.
His stance on poverty is powerful.
Yeah.
He doesn't just see it as a lack of money. He recognizes its devastating impact on individuals and communities.
Right.
Undermining their potential and sense of worth.
Yeah. And this leads him to his final point, which ties everything together beautifully.
Yeah.
The importance of leaving a legacy.
Yeah. He talks about being inspired by the stories and achievements of others and his desire to leave behind a legacy that will inspire future generations.
Yeah, he makes it clear that a legacy doesn't have to be about grand gestures or monumental achievements.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as mentoring someone, sharing your skills, or simply living a life that inspires others to be their best selves.
Yeah.
So in essence, building wealth for Manu becomes a pathway
Yes.
to creating a legacy that extends far beyond ourselves, impacting generations to come. And that brings us to a crucial question that Manu poses. One that I think is worth pondering.
Yeah.
He asks, what one story or lesson has had the biggest impact on your path?
It's a powerful invitation to reflect on our own journeys and consider how we can use our experiences to make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting how Manu connects financial stability to self-respect.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying that true wealth empowers you to kind of shape your own life rather than being at the mercy of circumstances.
He's highlighting a really important psychological aspect of wealth there that I think often gets overlooked. It's about, you know, that feeling of agency, of not being trapped by financial limitations when you're constantly worried about making ends meet. It's hard to invest in yourself or your dreams or your community.
It makes me think of that study about how scarcity can reduce cognitive bandwidth. If you're preoccupied with financial stress, it's like your mental resources are being drained. Leaving less energy for other important areas of life.
Manu's not just talking about dollars and cents. He's talking about the mental and emotional freedom that financial stability can provide.
And that's where his emphasis on multiple income streams becomes really relevant, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like building a safety net, not just for emergencies, but for pursuing opportunities that might not be immediately lucrative. He's encouraging us to create a financial ecosystem that supports our growth and allows us to take risks.
And it resonates with his broader message of empowerment,
That's absolute.
He's not just offering like a roadmap to financial success. He's advocating for like a mindset shift. You know, urging us to take control of our financial futures.
Be proactive.
Rather than just passively accepting our circumstances.
And he even challenges us to think about the systemic factors that contribute to poverty. Not just individual choice.
It's not just a personal failing.
Exactly. He reminds us that everyone deserves a fair shot and that creating a more equitable society requires addressing those barriers.
Just a nuanced perspective that goes beyond just the typical bootstraps narrative.
He's acknowledging that while personal responsibility is crucial, societal structures play a significant role in shaping opportunities.
But despite the challenges, Manu's message is ultimately one of hope and possibility.
Absolutely.
You know, he firmly believes that we all have the potential to create something meaningful and contribute to a better world.
And that brings us back to his focus on legacy. Which is woven through the entire article. He sees wealth creation not as an end in itself, but as a means to leave a positive mark on the world.
He encourages us to think about the kind of impact we want to have, both within our own families and in the wider community. He wants us to consider what we'll be remembered for beyond just our material possessions.
What struck me was his emphasis on the power of storytelling. He talks about how he's been inspired by the stories and lessons of others and how those stories have shaped his own path. He's essentially saying that, you know, our lives are stories in progress. And that we have the ability to write those stories in a way that inspires and uplifts others.
It's a beautiful way of framing it. He's reminding us that we all have a story to tell. And that those stories have the power to connect us, to teach us, and to inspire us to create a better world.
He's urging us to be conscious creators of our own narratives, to infuse our actions with purpose and meaning, and to leave behind a legacy that reflects our values and aspirations.
It makes you wonder, what stories are we telling with our lives? And how can we use those stories to make a difference?
That's a question worth pondering. And it's a question that Manu himself asks directly in the article.
He poses that thought-provoking question at the end. What one story or lesson has had the biggest impact on your path?
It's an invitation to reflect on the experiences that have shaped us, the wisdom we've gained, and how we can use those insights to guide our own journey toward creating a life of purpose and impact.
And perhaps in sharing our stories, we can inspire others.
Absolutely.
To find their own paths and create their own legacies.
Precisely. Our stories have the power to ripple outward, creating a wave of positive change.
It reminds me of that quote by Maya Angelou.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
That's a powerful reminder that our legacies are not just about what we achieve, but about the impact we have on the people around us.
And I think Manu would agree that building wealth in its truest sense is about creating a life that feels rich in meaning, connection, and purpose.
It's about aligning our financial goals with our values. Using our resources to make a positive difference. And leaving behind a legacy that inspires others to do the same.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think we can safely say that Frederick Osei-Manu's article has given us a lot to chew on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's challenged us to think differently about wealth, legacy, and the stories we tell with our lives.
And it's given us concrete tools and strategies to take action, to build a brighter future for ourselves, our families, and the world around us.
Yeah, it feels like Manu has given us this blueprint. Not just for building wealth, but for building a life of purpose and impact.
What I appreciate is that he doesn't dictate one specific path. He encourages each of us to find our own unique way of making a difference, using our talents and passions.
It's like he's saying, here are the tools now, go build something amazing.
Exactly.
He trusts us to take these principles and create something that resonates with our own values.
And that's so empowering. He's not handing us like a prepackaged solution. He's inviting us to be participants in shaping our own destinies and leaving our mark on the world.
So to bring this deep dive to a close, I think it's safe to say that we've unearthed some real gems.
We have.
From Frederick Osei-Manu's article.
Absolutely.
We've explored the importance of financial independence, the power of generational wealth, the imperative to make a positive impact, and the enduring nature of legacy.
It's a powerful reminder that building wealth isn't just about personal gain, but about creating a better future for ourselves, our families, and the world around us.
And as we sign off, I'm left pondering that question.
Oh, yeah.
Manu poses at the end.
The one about the story.
About the story or lesson that's had the biggest impact on our own paths.
Exactly. What story or lesson has been your guiding light?
Yeah. It's a beautiful invitation to reflect on the influences that have shaped us and the wisdom we can carry forward.
And how can we use that wisdom to make something meaningful, as Manu encourages us to do, both for ourselves and for the world around us?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's sparked some new ideas and inspired you to create your own unique legacy.